Hi everyone, I'm Matt, the Friendly Board Gamer, and welcome to another video. Today is going to be something a little bit different. It's not a board game, it's not a card game, but it's actually an adventure book. And I'm going to be looking at Legendary Kingdoms, The Valley of the Bones. This is published by Spidermind Games. Oliver Hulme is the author, and this is book one in the series. So this is the sort of choose-your-own adventure books. As you can see, it's a hefty book here. There's a lot in here. I got sent this for a review, and I started playing it. I really enjoyed it and thought I want to film this and show people this game, because anybody who's interested in these type of things I think are going to enjoy this as well. So what is Legendary Kingdom and these adventure books about? I'm going to read a bit of the story on the back, and you can see here on the back of the book as well is this map that shows you the region that we are going to be travelling through and having adventures through. There's also a sort of another map here of the whole of the world. This is not just this book one covers obviously the Valley of the Bones, but there are other books in the story as well, and book two has just fulfilled on Kickstarter at the time of recording this. So book one, The Valley of Bones, it takes place in a desert wilderness where tyrant kings oppress the teeming masses, in a land strewn with ancient artifacts and ruins. But the grip on power is fragile, and the citizenry are ripe for revolution. Is a land of blood and sand where civilization is rare and terrible beasts roam freely. So it's a lovely place to be, as you can tell. So what is these kind of books about? So it's an adventure book. We'll be performing various skill checks and various choices, and that will send us to different sections in the book, which will read a section of text, potentially have a choice, go to a different section. We may well have some combat or some checks to make, skill checks, and depending on what we're looking at, that could be a strength check or charisma if we're trying to speak to somebody and bribe them. It could be any sort of thing. So we have a party of characters. There are 6 to choose from. There's 4 here and 2 more there. I've already created my party here. I've done that prior to starting this video. So I'm using Sarah Jessica Dane. She's got fighting of 5, stealth of 1, law of 3, survival 2, charisma 4, and health of 8. So she's a sort of a fighter, a knight. I'm using Lord Tiquan. He is a spellcaster. He's got fighting of 1, stealth of 2, law 5, survival 1, charisma 2, and health 6. I'm also using Tasha. She is a buccaneer from the Splintered Isles. She's basically a thief. She has a fighting of 3, stealth of 5, law of 1, survival 3, charisma 3, and health of 8. And finally, on the last page, I'm taking Akira of Chalice. Fighting of 4, stealth of 3, law of 2, survival 5, charisma 1, and health of 8. So what I've tried to do is pick a mix of different characters. So I've got somebody here who is a survival character, I'm good at survival. Tasha is good at stealth. Sarah Jessica Dane is good at fighting and not too bad at charisma. And then I have a spellcaster here. So these are all the rules, talking about skills, skill checks, health, armor saves, combat, how all that works, spells, how we charge spells and drain spells, discovering new spells, equipment. We can get money, we can get items, we can get armor, we can even engage in romance if we choose. There are also these codes which are really interesting. So on this sheet here, there are all these various codes you can get, and depending on what happens and the choices you make, you'll get different codes, and then that will impact the story as we go through. But you'll see all that, how it all works as the game goes on. You can also buy a ship and go sailing, engage in trade. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. These are the spells you can start off with. There are 6 spells. I have recorded these on my sheet here. I'm going with Animal Speech, which lets me speak to animals, hence the name. Ice Bolts, which lets me deal some damage if I get into combat, and Wolf Spirit, which helps me with my survival checks. But again, we will see all that as they happen and as the game progresses. We also have a magical cabinet, or magic cabinet. It's a magic cabinet made of purple wood. You can use this cabinet to access the vault, storing and or taking as many items as you wish. When you've done this, the cabinet will vanish until summoned again. And that is how the game is basically set up. Again, you could choose your own characters, choose different characters. If I remember rightly, there are also rules in the back about creating your own characters as well. You can make your own party members here. So there's rules for that as well if you want to go that far down into it. I'm just using the pre-characters, or the pre-generated characters in here. Obviously, I am going to return the story. I'm going to make decisions, so there is going to be some form of spoilers in here. So if you don't want to see any of them spoilers, then turn off now. But please stay and watch the video. I'll be doing this over various sessions I travel through, just break it down into different sessions, and we'll stop at convenient points. Okay, so let's make a start. Let's begin our adventure and see what happens. So we start off at section number 1. You stir into consciousness. Heat and blazing sunlight, the slow rumble of a wagon, heavy chains upon your limbs. You groan, your mouth dry, your stomach empty. As your eyes focus, you can see your companions, fellow survivors of the brutal pirate attack, crushed together with you upon the floor of a rolling wagon. You remember little since then, except vowing to your newfound friends that you would stick together, come what may. You are relieved to see that they are still alive, but where are you? Gazing through the bars of the wagon, your eyes focus on a blazing yellow-grey desert. To your left, filling the sky, are the storm walls, a massive and impenetrable mountain range that divides the barbarian kingdoms of the south from the antique and mysterious lands of Drake Hollow. But which side of the range are you? The answer becomes immediately apparent as you look beyond the smelly dragon yaks which are ponderously holding your cage. A vast crumbling city of minarets and run-down adobe buildings fills your view. The sting in the air and on your lips tells you all you need to know. This is Saltdad, cruel throne of the tyrant Iron King, one of half a dozen tin pot dictators in the barbaric Valley of Bones. You are far from civilized lands here. Thin-faced slavers with spears rattle the sides of your cage, barking at you to get down. You slump on your hindquarters. For the moment, there is nothing you can do with your companions in chains. You swear you will regain your freedom and start your lives anew. But first, you must survive the horrors of slavery. Turn to 631. So, we turn our pages and get to 631 and read what happens there. So, 631. The slavers have sold you to the dreaded Saltdad Arena, a grim place where the poor and criminals alike fight to the death for the savage entertainment of the crowd. If you have the code A1, which we don't, if you have the code C17, which we don't, if not, read on. If this is the first time you've been sold to Saltdad Arena, turn to 271. We will go to 271. Seems like we're in a lovely place, a lovely situation. We have our friends, but no money, no weapons. We are enslaved, so we are slaves in Sultan Arena. So, the Saltdad Arena is the second largest complex in the city, with only the ancient palace looming larger. Its dungeons go deep into the earth, where prisoners, slaves, and monstrous animals are kept in large vaults, with only the feeblest light pouring through barred arches set high in the ceilings. Your quarters are a large and ancient hall, whose walls bear the sigils and faded murals of a more civilized age. Within this chamber are crammed nearly 100 hungry captives, sleeping rough upon the gravel floor and relieving themselves in stinking buckets stacked in a far corner. Oh, you can just imagine the smell, can't you? You ask about feeding arrangements from one of your fellow prisoners, who give you hollow locks. You'll know it when it happens, he warns. Suddenly, a hatch at the top of the hall is swung open, and the barely cooked carcass of a mountain goat is dropped carelessly into the middle of the hall. There is a great crush as the prisoners surge as one to tear off strips of flesh from the animal. A group of strong men from lash breath, slaves like you, batter the crowd away with threats, claiming first rights over the animal. You are starving. So this is our first choice. So we can challenge the men to first rights over the meat and turn to page 212. We can attempt to side with the men to ensure you get something, turn to 282, or we can wait our turn to get something to eat, 118. So I want some food and I don't want to wait because there might not be anything left. I don't think we are probably good enough or strong enough to fight them, so I think we should try to side with them. So we have to turn to page 282. And this is where our first skill check is going to come in. So 282. You attempt to get the violent-looking slaves on side, offering to join their gang and share the spoils of the goat evenly. So you have join the slave gang is a team check. So that means we all do this as one. We pass or fail as one. Skill and difficulty class or difficulty check. The skill is charisma, and we need 4 or more class as a success, and we need 4 successes. So the way this works, we look at our characters. We count up our charisma points. So we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we roll 10 dice, and we're trying to get 4 dice that show 4 or more. So I'm looking for 4 or more, and I need 4 of them for my charisma check. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are done. So 5 out of 10. 4 or more. I've got 4 more successes, so if I succeed, turn to page 838. Leave them there for the moment. So we have succeeded, so turn to page 838. 838. Here we are. Right. You project just the right balance of confidence and deference to convince the hungry slaves. Between you, the goat is divided up, ensuring a handsome meal that will keep up your strength in this terrible place. In addition, Tommel, the gang leader, agrees to maintain your alliance in the struggles to come. Gain the code A3 and turn to 865. So I've got 865, which is here, and I gain the code A3. So what I'll do is on this piece of paper here, I have A3, and I will draw a little circle around it to show that I have got that code A3. So that may come in useful later on, we'll find out. So 865. You are almost relieved when the cruel overseers of the arena call you out of the filthy living hall for your first battle. You are fed water by children wearing neck chains in a narrow, dusty chamber who present it to you in deep bowls from which you are expected to slurp. One of the children, a pretty blonde girl called Milagros, quickly advises you to keep to the edge of the arena and not to engage in the central melee. Don't use magic, she hisses. They'll take your tongue. Guards push you on before you can question her further. You are unchained and shoved into one of the gate rooms. Through the heavy pork cutlass, you can hear the crowd muttering in anticipation. You can see a number of crude weapons laid out for selection. Any party member may take a single crude blade, fighting +0. In addition, a single wooden shield, armor +2, and a maul, fighting +1. Are here to be taken. Remember that the maul is a two-handed weapon because its name is followed by a star. Okay, so anything that's got a star on it, when it's a weapon, it's a two-handed weapon, so you can only hold that. You can't hold a weapon and a shield if it's two-handed. And the party member winning, yeah, so that's what it says. The party member winning cannot use a shield at the same time. All too soon, the pork cutlass opens to a roar from the crowd. Blinking in the glare of the sun, you emerge into the deadly arena, turn to 835. Before we do that, though, let's assign some of these weapons to our people. So we have a crude blade of fighting +0, a wooden shield of armor +2, and a maul of fighting +1. So I think I am going to give... So I think Lord Tiquan, he's only got a fighting of 1, and he can't. Well, it'd probably be good for him to not use his magic because, well, as I said here, the little girl, they'll take my tongue, and I quite like my tongue. So I think I'm going to give him the maul, and that gives him fighting +1. So we've got a modified fighting of +1 up here. You can just mark that on your sheet there to say that. The crude blade gives you fighting +0, so you don't actually do anything. So I think Sir Jessica Dane can have the crude blade. And we also have a wooden shield. So I think, well, probably one of these two maybe. Who should we give the wooden shield to? Let's give the wooden shield to Tasha. I'm having trouble spelling there. Wooden shield. So that gives me an armour of +2. Okay, so we turn to 835. I think it's going to be our first combat. So here we go. There is an almost full crowd in the huge arena, with rich and poor alike rubbing shoulders on long wooden benches. On the sandy and blood-stained floor of the arena are a number of bones and skulls, artfully left to bleach in the sun. You can see all 10 gatehouses have opened, disgorging teams of poorly armed slaves. Some are fearless men and women from Chalice who do not so much as flinch as the crowd roars for their blood. Bull barbarians of Lashbleth hold their arms and weapons high as they seek endorsement from the bloody-minded crowd. Most of the warriors, however, look more like frightened peasants, mere fodder for the skilled warriors of the arena. Sitting high above the arena, upon a throne-like seat, is the Iron King himself, a black-bearded, middle-aged man whose jagged iron crown sitting proudly on his head. Next to him stands his bodyguard, the fearsome Malronak the Death Engine. I don't know why I struggle with that. Malronak the Death Engine. The solid metal golem was cast in the elder age of sorcery and has turned aside the blades of a dozen assassins. After cold and distant motion from the king, the battle begins. One team of excitable youths from the gate adjacent to you make a sudden rush, hoping to catch you off guard. The crowd roar in joy. The bloodshed is about to begin. You must fight. So this is what we're fighting here. We've got our opponents, we've got slaves and a leader. Slaves have an attack, 4 dice where they need 5 or more successes, a defense of 3 and a health of 15. The leader will be rolling 3 dice and again success of 5 or more with a defense of 4 and a health of 5. So let's go and have a fight. I'm going to pull this up because we will need this. So the way this works, I don't have anything to... Okay, I don't have anything to record this on. So what I'm going to do is I have some spare paper just here. So we have slaves, attack 5+, defense of 3+, health of 15. Leader, attack of 3 with 5+, defense of 4+, and health of 5. So how combat works, we take one of our heroes. We always go first, one of our party members. We take the fighting score, which, let's start with Sarah Jessica Dane, is 5. So she will roll 5 dice. She has a crude blade, but gives a +0 for the modified, so she'll still be rolling 5 dice. We're going to attack. Who should we attack first? We attack the leader, get rid of at least one of the... let's get rid of one of the enemies, potentially get rid of that one, easy enough. So they have a defense of 4, so any results on these dice of 4 or more will take a health off the leader. So we're going to attack the leader with Sarah Jessica Dane. So we have 1 hit. So that takes the HP down to 4. Not as good as I'd hoped. I was hoping for some more, but hey ho, something's better than nothing. So Lord Tiquan, obviously he could use magic, but we don't want him to lose his tongue. He has a morse, he's got a fighter +1, so he's rolling 2 dice, and again, anything 4 or more, we lose the leader 8 damage. And we got a 5 and a 3, so the leader's HP is down to 3. Tasha has a fighting of 3, so 3 dice, 4 or more. Another 1. Oh, come on. I was hoping to get rid of one of these. Akiro, he's rolling 4 dice, so I need 2 4s or more to get rid of the leader. Oh, the leader is hanging in there on 1 HP. Okay, so the way these attack, they can attack in any order, and we will choose who the defendant will be. So the slaves, they are going to roll 4 dice and they need 5 or more for successes, and I'm going to have them attack Tasha because she has the wooden shield. So 2 damage. Let me just confirm how the armor saves work. I think I rolled 2 dice, and on 4, 5s or 6s I block. So armor saves, so yes. I'm wearing a leather armor, roll 3 dice. So yeah, oh no, for every 4, 5 or 6 my armor saves, you can reduce the damage taken by 1 point. So in that case, Tasha is going to roll 2 dice. And my wooden shield, bing, deflects them both, no damage. Get away, them pesky slaves. So the leader is going to roll 3 dice, again needs 5s, and going to attack Tasha again. And there are 2 hits. So again, the wooden shield, roll 2 dice, 4, 5 or 6, I deflect 1. So Tasha is down to 7. And then the combat begins again. We keep on going that way until either we're dead or they're dead. So I think this time Tasha is going to go first with 3 attack dice against the leader. Again, any 4 or more, we've got a 5, so that brings it. So the leaders are dead, so they will not attack again. So Sir Jessica Dane, 5 dice against the slaves, defensive 3, so 3, 4, 5 and 6 are hits. And we've got 1, 2, 3 hits there, taking the health down to 12. Lord T-Quan for 2 hits, fantastic. And Tasha has already gone, so Akira of Chalice is going to go 4 dice and just 1 hit. So they are down to 9. So now they are going to attack. Got 4 dice, 5 or more for hits. They're going to attack Tasha. She's taking a bit of a beating, but she has her shield, which I'm hoping is going to help. So 5 or more. 2, so they've hit me twice for 2 damage. Roll for my wooden shield armor, and I protect 1. So actually down to 6. So going back to Sir Jessica Dane, she's going to roll 5 dice, 3, 4, 5 or 6. Oh, 2 hits. Then down to 7. Lord T-Quan, 2 hits. Into 5. Tasha's got 3 dice, 2 hits. Into 3. Now is Akira of Chalice going to do this with 4 dice, taking a 3 health? I doubt it, but let's see. Just 2. Oh, so close. So the slaves are on 1. They're barely hanging in there, but they're going to have 1 more attack. I'm going to have them attack, I think, Sir Jessica Dane this time, because Tasha's health is getting a little bit low. So, yep, 4 dice, need 5s or more. 1, 2, 3. Oh man, 3. Gosh. Sir Jessica Dane's on 5 health. So, Sir Jessica Dane's going to get her revenge. Come on, Sir Jessica. 5 dice. Slavers are dead. So there you have it. That is the first bit of combat done. We was successful. Took a few little dinks there. Tasha took a couple of hits. So Jessica Dane took a big one. Where was we up to here? If you win, turn to 107. So we did. So we did win 107. If Sir Jessica Dane is in your party, turn to 514. Well, she is, definitely is. So, turn to 514. Where are we? Here we are. The fighting is chaotic, and more slaves come to join the battle as the fight rages on. Sir Jessica is separated during the scrum. After slaying an opponent, she is suddenly bull rushed to the ground by an enormous lash-breath barbarian. her weapon scattering from her grasp. Barbarian hefts his axe high above the helpless knight. You must rescue her. Choose another party member to come to rescue her. Once you have made your choice, turn to 485. So, Jessica is about to get axed. So, who is going to come and rescue her? I think we might have... Well, Tasha's a little bit low. Akira's got good... Let's go with Akira. Yeah, let's see what he does, what Akira does. So 485. Page 485. All right. Yeah, 485. So if the character you chose was Tasha, no. If the character you chose was Akira, yes, turn to 735. Akira somersaults over an intervening foe, landing in front of Sir Jessica just as the axe blade falls. Clang! With one swift move, he knocks aside the axe blade, sweeping his sword across the barbarian's throat in a single motion. The dumbstruck barbarian stumbles back, blood pouring from his neck before collapsing in a heap. Sir Jessica, astonished at this peerless swordplay, gasps wordlessly. Come, Sir Jessica, says Akira softly. It is too soon to die yet. Taking his hand, Sir Jessica rejoins the fight, but she will not forget this moment. Note in Jessica's notes box that she has gained a heart from Akira. Akira also gains a heart from Sir Jessica. Okay, so there's a little bit of romance coming on here. Heart for Akira. Jessica... heart as well. That doesn't look like a heart, but hopefully you get the idea. Now turn to 753. Okay. I'm always curious to know what would have happened if I'd gone for the other choice, but I'm not going to go back and look because obviously that would be slightly cheating. But yeah, it's always interesting how these choices sort of play out the story. So 753. The arena is a swirl of swords and axe blades, the crowd jeering as blood is spilt and bodies fall. In the centre, the greatest fighter has gathered in a spectacular melee, while on the outskirts, the cowardly and the injured seek momentary respite. You have a choice. Do you want to leap into the centre battle fearlessly? You get turn to 101, or you can hang back until the fight comes to you, turn to 550. Well, the little girl, almost the bowl of water told us to not go into the middle, didn't she? I think we're going to hang back, take the slightly more cautious approach, and go to 550. We did take a few little wounds in the last combat, so we'll go on this route. So there is no point in provoking anything. You would rather deal with wounded and exhausted opponents than arena champions. You cast your eyes warily across the exterior of the battle. If you have the code A3, turn to 718. I think we do, don't we? We have the code A3. We get to do that. So going to 718. I won't read what would have happened otherwise, but 718. So 718. You spot the gang of slaves led by Tommel, who fought over the food supply in the dungeons. He seems happy to again join forces with you in order to increase his chance of survival. With a group of 8 fighters, you easily dominate the rest of the battle, ganging up and overwhelming any brave warriors that get in your way. Fantastic. So there we go. Siding with them men earlier was obviously potentially a good thing to do. So we get to turn to page 71. 71. Well, we don't know if it's a good thing to do. We'll find out, I guess. With a final flourish, you slay your last opponent. Although there are other living slaves in the arena, the battle suddenly stops as the Iron King stands. In a thickly accented voice, the king declares you champions of the arena. The crowd go wild. Woo! cheering you heartily as you catch your breath from the intense battle. Any hopes you had that being made champion would grant you freedom are soon quashed. Instead, you are disarmed, cross all items and equipment off your team sheet, and led back into the dungeons to nurse your wounds. Turn to page 608. So, we don't have the crude blade anymore, we don't have the maul, we don't have fighting +1, and we don't have a shield, and we don't have armour. Oh dear. Thought we were doing good getting some weapons early on, but they are all gone. Suppose it's too much to hope for that the guards would let us keep our weapons, but let's turn to 608 and see what is happening next. Okay, 608. Did any party members use magic spells whilst in the arena? No, they did not. If so, they are taken away by guards to a small room where the tongues are cut out and then sealed with branding irons. Each magic using character loses 3 health and cannot cast spells until they find a way to regrow their tongues. Well, that sounds pretty harsh for using a bit of magic, doesn't it? But good job we listened to the little girl who gave us the water. So 792. Where are we? 792. As arena champions, your quarters are improved a little. You now have your own cell to sleep in, half the size of an in-room, with a dirty straw mattress. Oh, sounds like the Ritz. Sounds lovely. In addition, you're given some basic training from an experienced gladiator called Chi Long, who claims to be a sword saint from the nearby city of Chalice. The meals are slightly better too, with Miller Gross, a slave girl, serving you rice and cut meat, as well as your water ration. All your party members can restore 4 health points. Fantastic. Six becomes an 8. Get 8 back here, and that's back to full health. Super duper. 4 health points. Between training bouts, you have many talks with Chi Long, who is damning of the Iron King's rulership of Soldad. I care not who hears it. The man is a tyrant, he exhorts. Life is hard in the valley, but wanton cruelty such as his is uncalled for. It sticks in my throat that I fight for his pleasure. I had heard that all the kings of the valley are petty tyrants, you say between mouthfuls of water. It was not always so, mutters Chilung. In times past we were ruled by a noble queen, the immortal Everchild, who cared more for her people than her comfort. After destruction left by the demon lord Abraxas, all that was left was ruins, and without her leadership the people of the valley became little better than barbarians. Only Chalice has a glimmer of civilization left. After a hard day of training, you make your way back to your cell. You have another bout in the arena tomorrow, and will need all your strength. If you have the code A2, turn to 495, which I do not. Otherwise, turn to 157. So, potentially another fight coming up, do we think? (157). The sound of drums and crowds roaring echo in your ears as you are once again lined up in the gatehouse in preparation for your latest bout. Up to 4 crude blades, fighting 0, can be equipped by your characters. Again, one character may be armed with a shield, armor +2, and another with 2-handed maul. So, we have 4 crude blades. Let's give them all a crude blade, even though I don't know why we give them a crude blade if it's fighting 0, but there must be a reason. A crude blade will give Lord Tiquan the maul, again fighting +1. Is a wooden shield? There is a shield, or just a shield. We'll give. Tasha's got a of 2 and crude blade as well, and we'll give Akiho a crude blade. And then we turn to 170. Quick your characters as you wish, then turn to 170. 170. So you step out into broiling heat, the sun scorching the sands under your bare feet. You are the first competitors into the arena and receive a roaring cheer from the crowd as you appear. High above you, the Iron King gazes down impassively. Marinok, the Death Engine, standing unflinching by his side. You look across the heat-swept arena as the far gate is opened. He looks, there's some pictures here. He's not looking very nice chap, does he? And this guy here, Death Engine indeed. So the far gate is opened. You cannot help but swallow as a pair of shaggy-haired desert lions come snarling out of the gate. Their manes are stained red with the blood of other victims, and they roar at you with filthy yellow teeth. You must fight for your lives. So again, we have some combat here. And we have the first lion. Attack of 4 with 4+ a success, defense of 4+, health of 9. And the second lion. 3 attack, 4+ a success, defense of 4, health of 10. Okay, so let's. It says here as well. Note: you cannot use spells in this fight under threat of mutilation. So again, combat works the same as last time. I think we'll go for the first lion, just because he's going to be rolling more dice, but has less health. So Sir Jessica Dane with 5 fighting is going to roll 5 dice, and he's looking for 4s or more. So we have 2. So HP goes down to 7. Lord Tiquan, he's got his Maul, fighting +1, so 2 dice. And he did 1. Down to 6. Tasha has a attack of 3 or fighting of 3. Again, another 1. Come on, I want to do some big hits here, get rid of some of these lions. So a keyword of challenge, 4 fighting, 4 dice. And he did none. Oh man, he missed the lion. Just missed it completely. So the first lion is going to attack Tasha, I think. And so he's going to roll, that's the first time he's going to roll 4 dice. Successes on 4 or more. He's got 1 success. So Tasha can use her shield to block. 4, 5 or 6 to block. And she blocked the 1 damage, so no damage was taken. Second lion is going to attack Tasha again. We also like the look of Tasha. Attack of 3, success on 4 or more. 2 successes. Use her shield to block for that armor. 4, 5 or 6 and blocks 1. So Tasha is down to 7. I will tidy up all of these at the end of this session, so it makes it a little bit easier to read for the next one. But for the moment, let's keep on going. These lions are not going away. So Sir Jessica down on the first lion, 5 fighting. And we have 2 hits. The first line down to 3. So I think a Kira of Chalice is going to go next. Fighting of 4. Another 2 damage off. So the line is down to 1. Ooh, now do I risk Lord Tiquan or do I play it safe with Tasha? I think I'm going to go with Lord Tiquan. 2 dice. He needs 1, 4 or more on 2 dice. Come on. Oh, I got 2 6s. Oh, there you go. First line is dead. But Tasha can still attack the second line. So 3 fighting and done 1 damage. Down to 9. First line is going to attack Tasha for 3 successes on 4 or more. And 2 successes. So 2 hits on Tasha, which is going to use her shield. And she takes 1 damage. Down to 6. Right, come on guys, need to get rid of these lions. So Jessica Dane attacking the second lion, 4s or more, 1, 2, into 7. or Tiquan. That's on the edge. Well, yeah, let's say that one was a score. Maybe a slight cheat there, but I think it was more on a 4 than it was on a 1. So we'll take that. And Tasha is going to go for 3 fighting. 1, 2, 3. Fantastic. Come on, Akiro. You need 2 hits on 4 dice. This is totally doable. 1, 2, 3 hits. So we got the second lion defeated. So there we have it. There's another bit of combat done and successfully won. Where were we? Where were the lions? Oh, here. If you win, turn to 2, 3, 6. 2, 3, 6. Here we go. The cheers from the crowd resound across the arena as the final lion falls dead. You cannot help but stifle a tear at the death of the noble beast, cruelly plucked from the wild to fight for the entertainment of the savage crowd. Feeling more bestial than even a lion, you are taken from the arena and disarmed again. Remove all of our weapons. So, shield has gone, crude blade's gone, crude blade's gone, fighting, mob. There we go, all of our weapons are gone. I could have done some paper and pencil, I think, but we'll see how this goes. I might switch that anyway. Where were we? 2, 3, 6. Eager for another bowl of water to slake your aching thirst, you come upon the sight of even greater cruelty. Poor Milagros is being shouted at and struck by an angry guard, enraged at receiving a splash of soup across his armour. The poor girl is on the ground in his shadow, nursing a bruise on her cheek as the guard pulls out his whip to punish her further. Now, do we dash to her defence, or do we keep well out of it? Surely Sarah Jessica Dane wouldn't leave a poor helpless girl and Akiro of Chalice, would they? Tasha might, she's a thief, maybe not the nicest of characters, but the others look pretty happy. I think they would rush to the defence of that poor Milagros. I think we're going to dash to her defence to 8, 1, 2. This might be a bad idea because we might end up getting attacked by loads of guards, but let's see what happens. It's the fun of these things, you never know. But hopefully it'll make for a good story, and you might want to do a slightly different route when you play this, if you play it. 8, 1, 2. You rush the guard, pulling him to the ground and kicking his whip away. Alas, more guards are never far away, and soon the room is filled with sweating, swearing soldiers who restrain and beat you as the other slaves look on. Each character must lose 2 health points. If this takes any character below 1, they stay on 1. The guards will not beat you to death at this time. So we each lose 2. Okay, maybe not the best of ideas. But then to 6, then to 4, 6. So we're not looking on the best of health. Turn to 700. Hopefully this is heal loads of hit points and you'll all be nice and happy again. Let's see what happens. So 700. You bend to help the injured Milagros, who tells you not to worry. I've had much worse, but you are gracious to help, she says, wincing as she smiles. Perhaps you'd walk me to the kitchens. I fear my hands tremble too much to carry the soup. Assisting Milagros, you follow her down the poorly lit tunnel towards the kitchen. You are brave warriors, and you have kind hearts, she says. It is not right that you suffer and stultify here. There is a plan to abruptly shorten our sentence. If you will be free, follow me. Milagros makes an abrupt turn down a narrow tunnel that plunges into darkness. So we can follow her. Turn to 379, avoid trouble, and turn to your cells. Well, I want to get out of here. So let's see if we can get out of here. 379. Hopefully this is not a trap. I haven't done these ones before, so I do not know. So let's find out. You make your way down the pitch black tunnel, relying on touching the damp walls to guide you. You emerge into a small cell, through which light streams weakly from a tiny arch high in the wall. In the cell you can see Qi Long, your trainer, and several other gladiator slaves. Welcome, my students, bows Qi Long. He indicates Milligras. You come in good company, I see. I believe we can trust these warriors, announces Milligras. Tell them the plan, Qi Long. Do they know what they are letting themselves in for? Who they fight for? We are all slaves here, you assure them. We fight for our freedom. That and so much more, says Qi Long, smiling. This is no mere slave girl. Standing before you is the reincarnation of the Everchild, the Queen of the Valley, the supreme sorceress herself. You look down at the dirty blonde waif. She speaks well, but could she really be a queen? The Everchild is a figure of legend, a story told to squires and children. Milligras sees the doubt in your eyes and places a finger in the soup bowl. She withdraws it and paints the walls with the thick soup, drawing strange symbols and words which begin to pulse and move as if under their own power. To your astonishment, she has drawn a spell upon the wall, filled with arcane power. If you have any spellcasters in your team, they can learn the following spell: Soothing Touch. Adventure or combat. Your hand glows with divine energy. Choose one of your party members. They can restore 5 health points. Recharge of 50. Well, we do have a spellcaster, Lord Tiquan. Do you fancy using Soothing Touch? Or learning Soothing Touch even? I would say so. So, Soothing Touch. It's recharge of 50. And I'm going to put, in brackets here, 379, because that might help me to refer back to this if I need to remember what this spell does. But I'll also write here plus 5 HP. Just find it helps with that chapter reference. That'll bring me back here, and I can remember what that spell does if I need to use it in the future. So with a wave of her hands, Milligras bathes your bodies in healing energies. You may restore the health scores of all of your characters to full. If any of your characters have lost limbs, tongues, or other organs, they are restored. Oh, that's one way of getting your tongue back. In addition, any diseases or curses you're affected by are also removed. So you see, we've not come across, apart from losing our tongue, we've not lost any limbs or organs. We've not got any disease or curses. So there's obviously a lot more in these adventures that we've not come across yet. So there can be no doubt this young slave girl is, if not the Everchild, certainly a sorceress of great power. So first off, let's get our health back, because I think we might be needing that. So to 6, you convert that 6 into an 8. This 4 becomes an 8. So there we go. That was good. That was good following her then, and good helping her. So we have a choice here. We can ask her how she came to be enslaved, or we can ask her about the escape plan. I want to know why she's enslaved. I will probably get to the escape plan eventually anyway. But let's get a bit of knowledge, a bit of history might help us, a bit of lore. So 629. I'm not yet at my full potency, admits the Everchild, running her hand through her filthy locks. In my eagerness to see the Iron Throne King dethroned, I sided with a certain group of revolutionaries. Sadly, we were ambushed by the king's men, and there was no opportunity for me to use my magic to turn the tide of the battle. I opted to keep my identity secret until a more appropriate juncture. But are you indeed the Everchild reborn, as the legends say? You insist. I believe so, she nods. I was born to common folk, and yet my mind is filled with memories, manners, and skills from a past life. Even if I am not, I am determined to replace the Iron King's tyranny with even-handed justice. I am willing to take on the mantle of the Everchild, so why not take her name as well? Why do you not escape using your magic, you ask? It is not yet mighty enough for me to effect an escape on my own, she explains. Besides, a queen needs followers, and mine are imprisoned here. We will leave together or not at all. A noble sentiment, you admit, but how exactly do you plan to escape? 743. So I think I might read a couple more and then come to a stop for this session. Just see what this escape plan is first. So Qi Long steps forward, giving his seat to the Everchild. The arena is ancient and was once much bigger. There are vaults and tunnels that lead deep into the earth. We have, in secret, excavated one such tunnel. We cannot be sure that it leads to the surface, but we are willing to chance it. Why have you not gone already, you ask? We have no weapons, and there are creatures down there in the dark, mutters Chilung. We were driven back in our last venture. It is too dangerous to proceed unarmed. Unfortunately, the guards keep the weapons very well secured. They are not keen on allowing slave gladiators unfettered access to arms. How can we help, you ask? We need to get the weapons out of the gatehouses and into our hands, says Chilung. To do that, we need stealth and a good distraction. So we can volunteer to get the weapons, we can back out of this risky escape plan, or we can inform the guards. I think we've come this far, so let's go and get some weapons. 191. Okay, 191. Where are we? Here we are. In order to get the weapons, you'll need to split up your party. Choose up to 3 party members to perform a distraction and up to 2 party members to steal the weapons. You must have at least 1 party member performing each mission. Once you've decided who will do which task, turn to 169. So we need stealth for the weapons. That's what they said, weren't it? So I think for the weapons, I'm going to write this down so I don't forget. Weapons, we need stealth. So who's good at stealth? We have Akiro and let's go for Akiro. Akiro and Tasha, and distraction. We will have Jessica Dane. Ooh, I suppose it's a bit risky having Lord Tiquan in there because he's not very good at fighting. Should we do something else? We swap Kiro. We could swap Lord Tiquan and Kiro. I know I found this stealth might be useful. That does leave Sir Jessica Dane with a fighting of 5, with Lord Tiquan as a fighting of 1. I think we're going to go with that. Let's see what happens. Hey, let's see what happens. So 169. So I'm going to read this one and then maybe stop. So your distraction team must divert the guards' attention from their posts at the gatehouse. What tactic do you think is best? So let's think about this. So we can start a fight amongst ourselves. That doesn't seem like a good idea. We can attempt to seduce the guards, maybe. Or we could pretend to be a messenger and say the captain needs them urgently. Turn to 875. So we could pretend to be a messenger. Should we try that? Should we try and be a messenger? 875. Who knows how this is going to work out. I'm just trying to get to a convenient point and then stop for this section. So, only the most consummate liar could get away with this one. If Brash is in the distraction team, which he's not, turn to 35. If not, the guards flatly refuse to believe you. You are given the customary harsh beating and sent on your way. Each member of the distraction team must lose 2 health. Oh dear. Oh dear. So, Jessica is down to 6. Tiquan is down to 4. Turn back to 169 and do something else. Oh gosh, okay. So should we try and seduce them? Do you think that might work? Give it a go. Attempt to seduce the guards. Turn to 7. I just don't think fighting's a good idea. That's all. Go to number 7. If Sir Jessica Dane or Akiro is in the distraction team. Yes, Jessica is in the distraction team. They refuse to comply. Oh man, their sense of personal honour is too strict to attempt such a strategy. Turn to 169 and choose again. Otherwise, read on. Right, it's Jessica Dane or Akira is in the distraction team. They refuse to comply. Okay, looks like we start a fight then. Looks like we fight between ourselves. 169. So we've tried to be a messenger. With attempts to seduce guards, we can start a fight amongst ourselves. Turn to 45. Oh dear. So timing it just right, you begin to shove one another in the water queue. To make it convincing, you start to exchange a few hard blows, attempting to drag other sleighs in the queue into your rumble. Each party member involved in the fight must lose 1 health point. Okay, so another health point gone. So Lord Tikwan is limping down at 3, and Saint Jessica is on 5. One party member assigned to the distraction team can contribute to this check. Start convincing fight. Team check. Skill and... Sorry, only party members assigned to the distraction team. So it's a team check, so it's a team of Saint Jessica Dane and Lord Tikwan fighting 4 or more successes, and we need 3 successes. We've got 5, 6 dice. 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need 4 or more on 3 dice. Yeah, come on. 1, 2. Nope, we've not done it. We have failed that. If you fail, turn to 7, 6, 2. That is not going well, is it? You cannot encourage the other slaves to join in the fight, meaning that the guards in the water queue are able to handle your disruptive behaviour. You are thrown into yourselves and are forced to abandon your attempt on the weapons today. That night you gather together and try to make a new plan. You can reorganise your distraction and weapon stealing teams if you wish. What strategy will you attempt now? Oh, should we reorganise? Well, I can seduce them and take out Jessica. Put Jessica in with the weapons and Akira in with there, because then their moral duty will not be compromised. Do that. Try that. Let's try that. So we're going to swap Akira and Jessica around. So weapons, we'll have Tasha and Jessica. And the distraction will be Lord Tikwan and no, because it was Jessica and Akira, wasn't it? Oh, so that means... Okay, so let's do this again. So the weapons... Distraction. So for the distraction, we'll have to have Lord Tikwan and Tasha. The weapons will be Jessica and Akira. Does that make sense? Why not? Okay, let's go. 10 to 7. I think I got that right way around. So yes, if Jessica Dane or Akira is in distraction team, which they are not, so if you comply, the sensible person on it is too strict to attempt such a strategy. Turn to 169. So the guards have been looking at you with hungry eyes recently. You side up to the gatehouse guards, suggesting all sorts of pleasures could await them in exchange for a few paltry rations. Only party members assigned to the distraction team can contribute to this check. So seduce the guards, a team check, charisma, 3 successes of 3 or more, success required 2. So we have Lord Tikwan. He has a charisma of 2, and Tasha has a charisma of 3. So 5 dice. I need 2 successes of 3 or more. Come on, it's got to be doable, surely. Oh, what? Did not do it. Oh, I can't believe that. So if we fail, turn to 5, 8, 8. This is not going well. Right, so perhaps your long incarceration has ruined your looks, or perhaps you're just not the guard's type. Your offer is really rejected and is accomplished by a cruel beating. Each member of the distraction team must lose 2 health points. Turn back to 169 and choose something else. Man, we cannot catch a break here. So Lord Tikwan is on 1. Tasha is on 6. I can't believe we failed that. Surely we can try that again and hopefully win. One, 6, 9. So yes, let's attempt to seduce the guards again. With the same team. Lord Tiquan and Tasha should be able to seduce these blinking guards. So a team check of charisma with Lord Tiquan and Tasha. Lord Tiquan is on 2, Tasha is on 3, so that's 5 dice. 3 or more successes, we need 2 of them. And we have done it. Hallelujah. If it's a C, turn to 3, 6, 4. Whew. That was good. We have seduced the guards. The eager guards take your distraction team away to a more private location. Hopefully this should give the other team enough time to carry out their task. Turn to 4, 5, 6. Okay, so hopefully the other team is okay with this. So 4, 5, 6, the door to the gatehouse is now unguarded and your weapon stealing team can now approach. The only obstacle is the gatehouse door, which is locked at all times. So we can steal the key from the overseer's office, turn to 393, or we can attempt to force the door, turn to 406. So we have Jessica and Akira. Stealth is probably going to be a good check there. 4, it's not great, but fighting. I think we might try and attempt to force the door open, you know. Let's try and force the door open. 4 or 6. Oh, if it makes a lot of noise, we might end up in a bit of a fight. So we pick up a nearby bench, you attempt to ram the gatehouse door. Only members of the weapon stealing team may help in this test. Bashing open the door is a team check. Fighting, successes of 5 or more. We need 3 successes. Fighting is 5 for Jessica Dane and 4, so 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need 3 successes, we need 5 or 6s. 1, 2, 3. We have done it. Yes. We are successful. If you succeed, the door flies open. After a few attempts, turn to 6, 1, 1. Okay, my voice is starting to get a little bit sore now, so I think we will stop soon, but we'll read 611 first. The gatehouse's weapon store is open to you. You may take any of the following items: hide armor, armor +1, shield, armor +2, maul, fighting +1, iron short sword, fighting, and a crude blade. You may take up to 4 crude blades. You also grab a number of crude weapons for the Everchild and her followers before fleeing the gatehouse, closing the door behind you. So let's mark these on our page, and then I think we'll make a stop. So I think we might give Lord Tiquan a shield, because that'll give him some defense and he doesn't have a lot of health. That's 1. I think we'll give somebody could do with some. Well, he's going to have a maul. Perhaps we can give Tasha a maul. That gives her +1 fighting. We can give Sajus Kadane a short sword. Gives iron short sword fighting +1. She can be our fighter, so that's 3 things. Maul, the shield, iron short sword. Should we give Akira? Let's give him some hide. Armor +1. If you take up to 4 crude blades, you can also grab a number. So we also grab a number of crude weapons for the Everchild and her followers before fleeing the gatehouse, closing the door behind you. Turn to 317. Okay, I think we will stop there. I'm going to make a note of 317 is where we're up to. So that is the first part of this adventure. We took a bit of a beating, but we've managed to eventually find this potential Everchild and look at trying to escape. We've got some weapons, which is good. There's a bit of romance going on here between Jessica and Akira. We'll see how that plays out as we go forward. So I hope that's giving you an idea of how this plays out. I'm going to carry on with my adventure. I'm going to record more videos, so come back for the next sessions. I'm going to play for, well, as much as I can, for as long as the campaign lasts, and see what happens. Hopefully some interesting stuff will happen, some interesting adventures, and I hope you enjoy me on the next one. So thank you very much for watching. This has been Legendary Kingdoms. Feel free to subscribe to the blog over at thefriendlyboardgamer.wordpress.com. If you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, then please do so. Just hit that bell in the top right hand corner. You can also find me on Twitter and on Facebook and on Instagram, and all my social media will be sort of down here in the show notes. I'll put a link in there. I'll also put a link to the Kickstarter for book 2 of this as well, so if you need to go and check that, I'm not sure it's a late pledge or pre-orders, but potentially is, and you can go and have a look there. And if that tickles your fancy, have a look at potentially picking that up. I'll also put the URL for Spidermind Games, so you can pick up book 1 if you desire. A lot of the stuff I did today I've not seen before. It's totally different from my first playthrough. I did that on purpose because I obviously knew what happened when I played the first hour or so previously. So all this stuff is new to me now. I do not know what's going to happen with this story, but I'm looking forward to finding out, and I hope you join me on the next one. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good day. Bye bye.